Hey family, it's your girl, Chef Narda. I'm in the kitchen. One of my favorite places in the whole house to be is the kitchen. So I invite you, come on in the kitchen with me so that we can make something happen together. Today, guess what's on the menu? It is not an oxymoron, it is not. We're gonna make some vegan tuna. And this vegan tuna is made from chickpeas, AKA garbanzo beans, right? We're gonna make some vegan tuna. And it's all about the seasoning. It is about the presentation, because we eat with our eyes and our nose, because if it doesn't look right, we're probably not going to partake. If it doesn't smell right, we're probably not going to partake. So I invite you to walk in the kitchen with me. We're going to cook together. But first, we have to wash these hands, right? We're going to wash these big old scoop hands, as my grandchildren call me Grandma Scoop. It's because of these hands. So we're going to wash our hands, very important. When you're in the kitchen, wipe down your surfaces, very, very important that we wash our hands. Right? And especially if we're preparing meals for others, not only do we wash our hands, but we want to glove up too, especially in light of the world in which we're in light of COVID and that type of thing. We don't want to make anyone sick or ill. So we're going to do this. I'm going to dry them as good as I can. We're going to get right into it. I'm not going to bore you. It's going to be fun. We're going to have fun. Here's a fun fact about garbanzo beans, aka chickpeas. It's a very good nutritional bean. It's good for diabetes, to kind of keep your numbers in line. It's very good for, the glove's too small, It's good for digestion. It's good for gut health. And when you got scoop hands, you can't fit the gloves. Lord have mercy, did I get the wrong? Listen, when y'all do this, make sure y'all get the right size gloves. How about, I told you it was gonna be entertaining. I wouldn't be talking to y'all if it wasn't gonna be entertaining. Y'all know how NardaJo do. This is what literally happens for real. In the kitchen, it really, really does. So if I could get these scoop, listen, how about this? Y'all start a GoFundMe page and get the girls some extra large gloves, okay? Because I'm over here on the struggle bus trying to get these gloves on, these big giant scoop hands. Woo! I done broke out into sweat trying to get these gloves on. That was your entertainment for today. All right, so now, here is the fun fact about garbanzo beans, aka chickpeas. The liquid that they come in a can, that liquid is called aquafaba. Interesting name, right? But you can actually use it, particularly for those who are on a plant-based diet and vegan and that type of thing. They use it as, it could be used as an egg substitute replacement, right? Because if you're vegan, you're non-dairy, so you can't use eggs, you can't use any of that type of thing. It can be used for that, and you can also beat it, and it can kind of froth up like a meringue. So it's really, really a good fun fact. That's what we want to call it. That's what I'm calling it. So here are the garbanzo beans. I've already poured them in a can, out of the can. You see that liquid? We don't need that. So we are just going to strain the liquid. This is how you strain it my way. This is the NardaJo way. All of that good liquid, we're going to save it, and we can use that. It's fine if some beans fall in. We're going to use that in a recipe a little later as an egg replacement. So let's rinse these bad boys off. Y'all good out there? Everybody good? Isn't it interesting how people are taking their health more important? I think it's really important that we take our health and think about the things that we put into our body so that we can not just be healthier for ourselves, but for those who love us. Very, very important that we think about what we eat. So this is how you do it. You got to improvise when you don't have a strainer. You improvise and you do it the best way that you can. And a fork, I have an assistant helping me today. If the assistant can hand me the fork. Thank you so much, assistant. Look at this. And if you want to do it, you got to have a gold fork. Because, I mean, how about that? Now, some people will put the garbanzo beans or the chickpeas in a food processor. I like to do things the old school way and the creative way. We're just going to use a fork. That's it. And we're just going to mash them. See? Just going to mash them up. Because after all, we want it to kind of mimic tuna. And we know that it isn't tuna, but it's all about the flavor profile. And this process, trust me, will not take long. Why? Because I have these big old scoop hands. See how I was mashing up? See there? And I'm not going to mash every single bean because I like the body and the flavor of some of the actual bean. And as we're making it, some of it will smash up some more. Right? See that? Sort of kind of almost reminds me of tuna. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But here we go. So now we're going to season it. So this is a product called black salt. And it's so interesting to me that it's called black salt because it isn't black, it's pink. But if we're going to mimic tuna, a lot of people put egg in their tuna, right? This has an eggy taste and actually an eggy smell. It's called black salt. So we're just going to sprinkle in some black salt, right? Don't need a lot. Just a little, my daughter says, she started saying this when she was little, you use this word, it was a little bit, she would say gilch. Don't ask me how to spell it, don't ask me what it means, we're just going to use a little gilch. And so we're going to put some rosemary in here. You don't have to, you can kind of use the ingredients that you like, but I like rosemary. So we're going to put a little rosemary in here. And here's what's funny, what's interesting with some cooks. I was not taught to, with measuring spoons and so forth and so on. And there's actually a meme going around, particularly in African-American households, that say we just kind of cook. And we hear voices from the ancestors that say, that's enough, my child. So we don't really measure things for the most part. Some of us do, some of us don't. I don't. This is called nori furkake. And what it is just really dry seaweed. That will help give it that fishy kind of taste that we're looking for because we're mimicking tuna. We just sprinkle that in. And I hear the ancestors saying, that's enough, my child. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to take that same fork and we just want to stir around. And if my assistant would be so kind as to hand me that slotted spoon, and that slotted spoon will help mash it up a little bit too. Thank you so much. See? And you see how, look at that. When I'm in the kitchen, I like to layer the flavors instead of just putting it all in there together. I like to layer it up as I go. What is the world? We cannot live without garlic. So we have to have some garlic, not salt. We have to be careful about sodium content. We have to have garlic powder. I'm going to sprinkle that in there. Enough, my child. This is something new that I've discovered in being in the kitchen and trying to build flavor profiles is celery seeds. Well, these are celery flakes. To me, it kind of gives it a more of a brighter note, if you would. So we're just going to use a gilch, and it smells so good of celery flakes. But that you do not, and again, you do not have to. It's really up to you how little or how much that you use. I'm going to use some mustard. I prefer Dijon. If you don't, ain't nobody mad at you. Use what you have. And again, we're not measuring, but we're layering. Easy, simple. Just kind of take the time to invest in yourself. Kind of take the time to think about what we're eating and what we put into our bodies. Assistant, may I have the gold spoon? We used the gold fork, so now we're going to use the gold spoon for the, and this mayo is vegan. There's no egg in it. This is a vegan mayo. And we're going to put a gilch at a time because you don't want it too wet, if that makes sense. So a little gilch at a time. See how they're starting to form? Need another gilch. Whoa, that was a big gilch. It's all good. See there? It's coming together. It smells amazing in here. It really does. So, some people put relish in their tuna. I do. Some people do, some people don't. It's entirely up to you. And again, just kind of put some in. That was a big gilch. It's all good. gonna stir that up. And how about, let's keep it as healthy as we can. How about we put some vegetables in there? Can we do that? Let's get some vegetables. So walk with me if you would. We're gonna get some vegetables. So here we have some, again, we're eating with our eyes. So we want some color, we want it to pop. Let's put some red bell pepper. We'll put some purple onion. We'll put some cilantro. Put a little white onion and some yellow onion. How about that? Because we really want it to be pleasing to the eye. All this has been pre-prepped and cleaned. So we're just gonna dump that in there. I'm gonna use knife. I don't have a knife. How do I think I'm gonna cut with no knife? Thank you, assistant. And this is probably not the smartest thing to do, but this is how I cut. I'm more comfortable cutting this way than I am using a cutting board. I don't know why, I just do. But if you feel more comfortable and safer using a cutting board, then that's what I would suggest. And another thing, I don't like to cut my vegetables small. I like to taste it and like bite down in it. I think I kind of feel like I'm really getting the full nutritional value when that happens. So here we are. And again, you can use, if you don't like peppers and cilantro and onions, then you don't have to use them. It's really, you don't have to use. Some people think that they don't like cilantro because it's interesting in how we have different taste buds. Some people think cilantro reminds them of soap. And it has like a soapy taste, very interesting. And some people will stay away from cilantro. I've discovered either you like it or you don't. I just happen to love it. Look at that. I think we need a little more red for color, just to make it a little more pleasing to the eye. We'll use some more of that onion too. I'm the onion girl too. Go. Just gonna cut that up in big chunks. Again, if you want the chunks to be small, that is absolutely fine. I like when it be bigger. Almost there. And how about we use a little, this is just all-purpose seasoning, sodium free. Just going to use a little bit of this. Put it aside. We're going to be very careful about our sodium content, particularly in the African American community. Many of us have hypertension and that type of thing, and it is because of not just the foods that we eat, but sometimes it's preservative in the food. It has a high sodium content, so we just have to be very careful and use that balance and try to use a strategy so that we have as less sodium as we can. So how about, can you guys believe that we are done? Turn to your neighbor and tell your neighbor that we are done. So let me ask you a question. How much time would it take for you to actually take the time to invest in yourself, right? It's easy. Invest in yourself. Take some time, take an hour or maybe 2 of your day, prep. So we're going to actually prep this. We're going to put it in, I know you guys saw the broccoli that was over to the side and the carrots. We're going to prep it so that we all have busy lives and we all have busy schedules. Isn't that right? So what we'll do is we'll prep it, and then we'll kind of grab and go. We'll grab it in the out of the refrigerator, and then we'll go. And this is the end result of what it'll look like. Now, this is one that I had already prepared, so it doesn't look exactly like this one, but it's very close. As you can see, look at that. This one has cucumbers, right? And it's on a bed of spring mix. And there you go, easy peasy. Very nutritional, very easy, very quick, a great investment in your health. And there you have it. Thank you so much for walking in the kitchen with your girl, NardaJo. What do we do here? We build relationships, one meal at a time. God bless you. Enjoy your day.